2 of week 13 for the music, I want to play 10 minutes of a video that shows really good examples of polyrhythm for African music. Pay attention to what they're wearing. Pay attention to what the instruments are made out of. Pay attention to how one instrument has one particular beat, another one has a different one. It sounds very chaotic, but it's very well thought out. It sounds like people are just kind of winging it, but they really are. They've planned this out. They've rehearsed this well. There's a lot of purpose to it. It's very intentional. It's not just random people just banging on drums. There's there's a real purpose to it. So I want you to watch this. And this is an example of African polyrhythm.
C'est du rythme. Toutes les choses, c'est du rythme. Toutes les choses, tout le travail, tous les bruits, c'est des rythmes.
And they're making a djembe. They just chopped down a tree. A djembe is one of those drums that I have in the music room.
Djembe. Kansaba. Bing. les pas de marche sur le rythme. Parole, c'est des rythmes.
Ini masana kala ipo saniti. Eka. Ini masana kala ipo saniti. Eka. 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 Ini masana kala ipo saniti.
If you noticed, the man was chopping down a tree and he was making a djembe. And this is the djembe that we have in the music room. And the man was kind of in a different language, but he was kind of talking about it. There are 3 different sounds. Again, it's hollow at the bottom. And there's animal skin on top. You could see him scraping the hair off of the leather, the animal, to make it leather. And then they probably use some type of animal guts or something. They would twist the intestines and stuff so it turned into kind of a really, really strong string. Remember, when we play djembe in the room, it's never sitting flat on the ground. I sit on a stool and I kind of squeeze it between my legs. So the sound comes out the bottom. If it's sitting flat on the ground, you're not going to hear it as well. And the man, if you could tell, he was trying to tell you there's 3 different sounds to it. If you play the end of it, it's higher. If you play the middle, so depending on what part of the head you're going to be using and what you do with your hands and how your hand is shaped, you're going to be getting a different sound out of it. This was the djembe that he was making, which is pretty kind of cool to watch him make. Also, they talked about, he did talk about it, but we've talked about it, how they're made out of different natural resources. This is a shekere, and this is from Africa. And this is made out of, you can see really, really closely, I think we passed it around before in other years, little tiny, see, they almost look like acorns, or they look like little tiny pine cones and little shells. And they put them on there. This is like a gourd that's hollowed out. And you could either shake it like this, or you could rub it, like our kabasa. Our kabasa is a metal instrument that we use that's made out of a factory in America. But these are natural resources that people make things out of. Shakers, they would have gourds like we have, and they would put things inside them. Different maracas are made out of different things. And these instruments are made out of all over the world, which is kind of interesting because if you see a video of if you see some instruments made in the Middle East, in China, or someplace over there, they might be using the same type of natural resources that we do. The Native Americans in America, some of their homemade instruments were made out of very similar, made of the same type of things that the people down in Africa have. So, and they didn't have a convention to learn how to do this together. They just figured it out on their own. And they just looked at what was around them and they made instruments out of it. I'm going to play about 5 more minutes of this video. Pay attention to what they're doing. If you could see, I think I mentioned before, you could see the kids that had their sticks and they were grinding corn. They were chopping different things that were grown in the fields, and they would turn into flour, so they could turn that into food. And so, and there was a certain rhythm, and they were pounding to the rhythm and it would help them get their work done, and it would help the day go quicker. About 5 more minutes of that other video.
Ekya,
Senati kumma fila.
ekya,
On est dans le rythme. Senati kumma fila.
ekya.
Toutes les choses, c'est le rythme.
Kini masenekele ibo
Senati
senti.
kumma fila. Nous, on ne va pas égorger notre culture, on va la garder. Ça va rester. Je suis sûr que ça va rester.
So that is polyrhythm. Lots of things going on, and it's part of their daily life. You can see the little kids who are trying to emulate their parents. I mean, they're the men in the culture were looked up on as respected people, being the musicians, and these little kids were doing the same thing, and they were learning how to do it by following their parents. That is polyrhythm, and we'll connect more next week. Bye.